Reaching the civil services interview is one of the most biggest achievement for every civil service aspirant, because that is a dream come true moment when you really see that you have qualified the mains and you have seen your roll number and your name in the list and you're going for the IAS interview. A big dream come moment, and also it is an important stage where your pressure start building up. Because no matter if you are going for the first interview or the second interview or your third interview, you still are pressurized, because you know that your mains marks is the most important thing that will decide your result. But definitely that feeling will definitely be there. So in this video, I'm going to come out with a content called Facing the Interview Board. What are the important things that you have to do in the interview? Especially when you go for the interview, what are the important things that you should remember, you should work, you should prepare? So this is actually created from the last so many years of my experience, and after visualizing after taking in the experience of the students who have been to the interview, both successful and many unsuccessful aspirants. So what the board has asked them, I've actually put it everything in this video. So I hope you'll enjoy this video. And before that, people out there, if you're going for the interview, if you want a personalized DAF, definitely curated by me. If you want a personalized DAF map and a small brief mocks that you want, you can personally text me in this number. And meanwhile, do subscribe to our channel Learn Stroke IAS Classes by Arjun, and do subscribe Future Next, which is our offline IAS platform. So without much delay, what are we going to have in this important session? What are we expecting in this session is, number one, we'll actually deal with 6 important things in this video. Number one, what are the beginning things that you have to remember for this interview? And number second, it is all about what are the different type of question formats that you have to expect. And third is DAF mapping. How do you create that DAF mapping with a 360-degree overview? Like, it's a scenario where anything from your DAF is very important. And how do you create the DAF map, and how do you face the out-of-the-box questions that the interview board asks you? That is also very important. And what are some of the general things that you have to remember as an aspirant while you're going for the interview? And what are some of the confidence points? So 6 important topics to be discussed in this video. So let's do it one by one. Let's start off with facing the interview, which is general interaction. So get an idea. See, always understand that when you go for the interview, please do always keep in mind your content knowledge is already tested in the prelims and mains. They know that you have the content. That is why you cleared the prelims. That is why you cleared the mains examination. So it is going to be a general interaction between you and the board. That is the number one thing. They are going to test not your content. Definitely they will be interested to note your content. They are going to check your mental alertness that you're seeing on the screen, and how prompt you are, and what is your dress, etc. Let's even understand that the screenshot that you are seeing on the screen is actually the syllabus of the interview. For all those who did not know that UPSC notification definitely had a syllabus for the interview also. You must have seen it for the prelims and mains. In the interview too, you have a syllabus for this. Take an example like this. In this, what are the important points? They are going to check your mental caliber. What are your social traits? How much interested you are in current affairs? What is your mental alertness, balance of judgment, leadership quality, etc. Are you capable enough? So these are the important skills which the interview board is actually expecting, because this is actually given in the UPSC notification. So this is definitely expected from your side. And the second part they're expecting in this, it's not a cross-examination between you. It's a purposive conversation between you and the board. So that is a purposive conversation. So you should know within and outside your state, your country, etc. and new discoveries which rouses your curiosity. So new things happening, and how is it actually affecting your curiosity is all part of the syllabus. I'm just reading out the syllabus of the IAS interview. Okay, so this is a few things that before we start, and the first thing definitely will be beginning things. The most important things of an interview is the entry. Definitely you'll be taken into the board, you'll be taken into the room. So definitely when you come into, you can actually go inside the room. So definitely what will be your thing? The most important thing is how gently you get inside the hall, and greeting the board is the most important thing. Always understand when you make an entry, make a very gentle entry. Do not be fussy. Don't shut out the door very quickly. Just be calm, quiet, because the entry is very important. Whenever you come inside, just make a calm entry. You go forward that. When you see the board, you greet the board. You can say either good morning or good afternoon or whatever the time is. Good morning, sirs. And if you see a lady member, that is the most important thing that normally people have a mistake. So if you see a lady member out there, you can even wish the lady first. Good morning, ma'am, and good morning, sirs. Even if you can call good morning, sir, good morning, sir, good morning, sir. So it's better good morning, ma'am, and good morning, sirs, and give a eye contact to all the members because you're greeting all of them. That is very important. Sometimes we have seen in the interview, so as I told you, all this is actually based out of the experiences of the students as well as the mock interviews we have seen. So in the mocks, definitely there were examples when people, all out of sudden, they are actually very confused and tensed. They come inside, they greet, good morning, sir, and they forget to greet the lady. So it's very important you greet the lady first. Good morning, ma'am, and good morning, sirs, and give a eye contact to all of the board, maintaining an impact that you're looking at everybody and your greeting has reached everybody. So that is very, very important. So please be very careful on that also. And also regarding your dress and seating posture. So obviously you know that definitely depends upon the climate, depends upon the timing that you're going for the interview. So if you definitely it's good to wear a blazer, it's good to wear a suit with a tie, and always prefer a light color dress. If you're a lady candidate, definitely sari is a good choice, and make sure you wear in light colors so that dark colors attract unwanted attention towards your dress. They will actually look at your dress and let's wear a light color dress. If you would love to wear a blazer and suit, wear a good tie, wear a good blazer, and make sure that your hair and mustache, everything is actually neatly trimmed. You look very gentle and you look very presentable. That is the most important thing. So that is one thing. And look at the seating posture also. It's very important that you sit very straight because your body language, most of the people you see that you sit at the edge of the seat. You sit at the edge of the seat, meaning that you feel that after 4 questions, it gives a feeling that you will fall down. Don't do that. Sit comfortably and sit straight and probably put your hands, and it's not good to have so many hand movements like this because it will distract the interviewer and the board. It's good to have minimum hand movements are good, but not that your hand moving, you don't have to move your hand every now and then. So it's main a calm, composed posture, and make sure that your body is very straight and it looks confidence. And you can just take another look at the side because don't sit on the casual line like this. And you can see the image number C, where sitting straight sends a message of smartness, confidence, and credibility. That is the sitting posture, which will definitely give you that power and confidence. So that is regarding the seating posture, greeting, etc. So once you have entered the room, once you have seated, they will ask you to sit. And next is important is question format. What is going to be the questions? You're going to have a discussion. So what is going to be the question? So number one, the most important thing, the golden thing is your DAF that you're seeing in by detailed application form, because while you're going into interview, you must have definitely filled in your DAF form. Very, very important. Read each and every line of the DAF because they can ask you anything on the DAF because that is your information. You are supposed to answer all of your information very strongly. And don't be very tense because they can ask you by simple questions like how is Delhi? If you're coming outside Delhi, they can even ask you. If you're coming from the southern part of India, they can definitely ask you how is Delhi? How is the climate here? Have you been to Delhi before? And are you nervous? So they can ask you anything to make you comfortable. Like they can even ask you to introduce yourself. Please tell us about yourself. You can introduce yourself and tell them about brief information. So DAF, as you can see, starting from your roll number, your name, your email, your mobile number, and the most important next is your address. They can ask anything from that. What to expect in the DAF? They can ask anything from the DAF, and that is why the DAF reflection, take a look at that. Your date of birth, your address, your correspondence, your communication address, which place are you coming from. This is very important. They can even ask you anything from your place. If you're coming from Panipat, they can even ask you right away about Panipat. They can ask you about the battle of Panipat, and from that point they can even ask you about the wars of India. They can even take you to the wars to the present times. So whichever place that you're coming from, there should be some historical importance of that. You should definitely know that. So your place, all this is very, very important. Even pin code, they can even ask you pin code, which you should definitely know, and the permanent address and all aspect related to that. And the next aspect of the DAF, definitely you will see all this face: name of your father, your status, name of your mother, status, nationality, your address, your father's profession, your mother's profession. They are also very important. They may not be a direct question relating to that, but if you see that, imagine that your father is actually from an agriculture profession. They can immediately ask you a question on India's agriculture. So what are the important challenges your father has faced as an agriculturalist? What is he doing? What is the cultivation that he's doing? So what type of crops are being cultivated? So what is the position of India's cultivation regarding that? So I still remember there was a question, there was a candidate's father who was working in a state road transport corporation, and immediately they asked about the performance of that state's road transport corporation. How is the public transportation in that state? How is the public transportation in India? How can you improve that? So whatever you can get in this can also be a question. So be very thorough with what is your father's profession, mother's profession, what are they doing, even their home state, everything is important. They can be a question. And I still remember there was another candidate whose village was sounding to very similar to a Chola place. They immediately asked about the Chola architecture. And they asked him, what about the Chola architecture? How should art and culture, or how should culture of India be preserved? So all these were important questions from that. And the most important reflection here, it goes your degree. Even the movie has shown it very clearly. The 12th fail, you must have seen that scene where the aspirant tells you that Manoj Kumar Sharma say that I'm a 12th fail student. So your marks are immaterial, but they may or may not ask the marks. But look at that. The name of the institution, what is your degree and what is your mark, and the name of the institution and the university that you are coming from. They can even ask you a question of your name of your college. If you come from a Loyola college, they can even ask you about St. Ignatius Loyola. Tell us something about the Jesuits movement in India. So what is the college history, what is the place history, so all this will have importance, and the subjects that you have studied will also have very important. So imagine you have studied, so please be very thorough about the subjects that you have learned, especially your graduation subject also. Don't think that it is already tested. If you are an engineer or if you are a doctor, definitely you can expect something from your basic degree. They can even ask you questions on that also. So look at this column. And the most important, if you are a working professional, your work experience is also very, very important. So in this sample DAF, this is actually a DAF of I've erased all the details of this. So he's actually a mentor and he has a lecturer, temporary positions this gentleman has taken in. So if you're a teacher, they can even ask you, who is a teacher? What are the functions of a teacher? Tell us the most important 5 qualities that a teacher should have. How is the Indian education system? So it is all connected. They can even ask you on that. And if you have worked in a private sector, they can even ask you a question on the recent statement by Narayana Murthy that you should work 70 hours a week. Do you agree with this statement? So your work culture, your optional, your work experience, everything can be a question in this regard. So please be very prepared on this ground also. And next is the golden column of your DAF. The golden column where most of the questions get attracted. Because this is the column where you will write about your prizes, medals, scholarship, etc. and sports, NCC, positions, distinction, leadership held in your school, college, whatever things. See, no matter how small it is, you are actually a school leader, or you were a house captain in your school, you were the secretary of the NSS club, and you were the mess secretary in your hostel. I still remember there was a question on how a gentleman was actually a mess secretary in the college. He was a mess secretary in the college, and the important question that they asked him was regarding the food distribution, the management of food in your mess, and how is it India managing the food supply and the food supply in India, and the importance of Food Security Act. This is how the question can go actually. And also your extracurricular activities and interests such as hobbies, etc. You can put watching movies, or you can say listening to music, gardening, cooking, driving, riding, photography, short films, watching YouTube videos. It can be anything. So whatever you write in, be very thorough with that, and always remember the 360-degree DAF making. So, and also the other important aspects of DAF is regarding the cadre that you're giving in. Imagine that you're giving in zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, zone 4, zone 5. So you must have definitely indicated your cadre. It must have seen that, take an example of the zone 4, you have given West Bengal first, Tripura 4, Sikkim 2nd, Nagaland 5th, Manipur 6th, and Meghalaya, Assam Meghalaya as 3rd. So even while your choice of preference can even be tested. So in your zone 4, it is seen that you have preferred West Bengal and you put Nagaland in the, Manipur in the last position. So is that because there is a problem happening in Manipur? Is that because there is a big problem happening in Manipur? Your preference was not given you. Why did you choose West Bengal and why did you not choose Manipur here? So all these can be important questions. Even your cadre preference can be tested. Why is the rationale? Why did you choose this state? So the ultimate point is each and every state that you even put in the DAF is absolutely important. That is the point that I wanted to tell you. And again, the next golden column is your service list. You must have seen your order of preference, IAS 1, IPS 2, IFS 3, or what are the important order of preference, that is services that you've given. It's very important that some people put IRS as a first option, some people put IPS as a first option, some people they eliminate IPS from the option. So that is also an important thing that the board notices. They will ask you, why have you not chosen IPS? Why? Because, and they can even ask you, why do you want to be an IAS officer? And why not an IPS officer in India? You don't like policing? So all such questions can even be expected from this thing. That is the reason why you should be even very clear about these things in this. So that is the reason why a DAF map should be brought in, that as you can see in the 360-degree. Whatever things, each and every entry of the DAF, you should actually create a 360-degree analysis. What all things can be asked from this? It's very important that you prepare on that line. Because that is your DAF, your information. So out of that information, you should be damn clear and damn sure about what are the things that you should be really knowing about this. So that is the DAF map that I have shown you. So that is regarding the DAF. So don't think that all the interviews, so there are combinations. Sometimes they may not even ask anything from your DAF. They will simply jump into other important aspects like what are the other questions. They can even ask you questions on international perspective. So not the issue, know the international perspectives, know your opinion, have your opinion very strongly, have a good coverage. So before you go for the interview, make sure that you know about 1 year's complete international news happenings. And most importantly, rather than knowing the content, have an opinion. So like Israel-Palestine issue, they can ask your opinion. What is your take on this? Do you think the problem will be solved? What is the root problem for this? So apart from the issue, your knowledge, your opinion, your view is very, very important. So sometimes, what happens is sometimes they can ask questions on DAF and the questions will go from your DAF. Or they can even ask questions. Sometimes they will not ask anything from your DAF. They will simply directly jump into an international. I still remember sharing one of my experiences with a mock panel. I still remember I've heard it from a very senior UPSC member who is actually a 1960s officer. He was once a UPSC board member. He actually told me a very good example when the board asked him a question. He was actually in the board when the aspirant came in, and this gentleman, this senior board, this member, he asked him a question. Did you read today's newspaper? The aspirant said no. Then the board member was very angry. He immediately said, I have nothing to ask you. I have nothing to say to you. I'm done. You can ask. So such type of serious, infuriated statements will come at you. You have to keep your composure. You have to be very calm and quiet. Okay, so it's better that you read your newspapers also. So if it interviews on the afternoon, so it's good. Even it is in the morning, it's good that you read the newspaper. Because such things can provoke you. Don't get provoked. Just stay calm and quiet. So know the international issue like Israel, Palestine, Russia, Ukraine war, whatever is the international issues happening, the Belt and Road Initiative of China, know about China's expansion, American angle, developing countries, economy angle, know about all these concepts. It is also linked to your optional also. They can really ask good questions on Indian economy too. They can ask really good questions on Indian economy. And the next is regarding national perspectives. They can ask anything about India. Like what is the Kashmir issue? Do you think Kashmir issue is solvable? How can you solve this? And they can ask you on Indian economy. Economy is very important. Know about it, because social issues are some issues which you will definitely know. You will have some ideas. But what is India? What is the fiscal deficit? What are the reasons of current account deficits? And what do you suggest? They can even ask you anything from Indian economy. So be prepared on, do a very good research on Indian economy and cover most of the important. The key word is perspective and your opinion and coverage. And again, your state is very, very important. Which state are you coming from? See, whatever things, like I've given you like sex ratio, women schemes, health, education, government scheme, the performance of all this, whatever is happening, and in which position is your state, how is your state's performance in all these aspects. Know the end all and everything relating to your state. Because there will be certain shortcomings and definitely advantages of your state performance. Know about it. They can really, really ask you about your state, especially when they ask you a national question. They can even compare that national question with your state. That is the reason why I said state is very important. Next is the important question of out-of-the-box questions. They can ask you anything, because these are the standard questions. They can ask you from the DAF, they can ask you from international, national, or your state, or anything apart from economy or related stuff. What if they ask you about the out-of-the-box questions? What are the out-of-the-box questions? They can ask very silly questions. See, they can ask you very silly questions, weird questions, which do not have answers. But always understand, when such questions are asked, make sure they are asked to test your alertness and the presence of your mind, and be well oriented. Because always understand that, imagine they ask you a very simple question. I've seen this question, how many steps are there? What do you think about this room? What do you think about this table? So these are all questions that is actually, so what will you say? This table looks really nice. So make sure such silly questions will definitely tell out your alertness. And they can even give you case study questions. Imagine that you are in this position, what will you do? So it can be a real out-of-the-box question. But always understand, some questions are not meant to be answered. They are only checking, they are only provoking you to make sure to check your mental alertness and your presence of mind. So be very alert on that. And next is few general things that you should definitely keep in mind for the interview. And number is general temper. Always understand you cannot answer all the questions. I still remember one of the aspirant who has got the service. I've heard him, after the selection, I've asked him about the service, about his experience in the interview. He said almost the first 6 questions or 7 questions that the board asked, he did not have any answer. He simply had to pass. I don't think I know the answer, sir. I'm afraid I don't know the answer. His confidence was going down. But even in spite of not answering that 7 questions, it was very difficult questions. He didn't have any idea. But he did not lose out his calmness. He went on and answered the other questions. So always understand, some questions are not meant to be answered. So if you do not know, feel free to say that I don't know, sir. I'm afraid. But that question should not be from your DAF. Then it is a serious problem. If it is a random question, it's perfectly all right. And always answer to the question. If they are asking you about, gentlemen, tell what is your opinion about the AFSPA or the Armed Forces Special Powers Act, and you have even taken Northeast as your cadre. You're given preference to Northeastern states also. What is your opinion on AFSPA? So you're telling, sir, Armed Forces Special Powers Act is this. So no, they will say no. I have not asked the definition of that. I'm asking you what is your opinion. So listen to the question properly. Sometimes they may be, the people sitting in the board might be a senior people whose voice and the modulation and the type of the accent, it will be difficult for you to catch. So listen to it carefully. And if you don't know, please ask them, sir, can you tell me the question once more? Listen to the question. If you simply answered not to the question, that is again a negative point. They will come to the assumption that this guy is not listening. So that is very important. Always answer to the question. The next point is, do not digress from the area. Listen to all the questions. So the previous thing was to listen to all the question. Now say, do not digress from the area. Imagine that the question has 3 parts. You will only listen to one and you will only answer the one. So if there are 3 parts of the question, answer should be given to the 3 parts or the 2 parts of the question. Don't just answer the question. Listen carefully. There are 3 aspects of this. Answer the one, answer the second, and then give the third point. That shows your credibility and that shows your mental alertness and your credibility. So please be very careful. If you do not know them, tell them politely, not like this, not like this. Don't give out your expression. Never give out your face. Is definitely, face is that thing. It's a mirror. Do not reflect that you don't know this. Sometimes I've seen aspirants giving out that the moment they get the question, they'll give out the face and expression will give that they don't know anything about this. So even if you don't know, it's always good to be calm and quiet and be very charming and pleasant and say that, sir, I'm afraid I don't know this. I've not read this. I'll make sure I'll read this. I'll read upon this. I'm not sure on this. So it's a very calm and quiet rather than just, oh, I'm not. Don't give out the silly faces. Don't make the silly faces. Don't lose out your body language too. So if you don't know them, tell them I don't know it. And as I said, some questions are not meant to be answered. Simply pass it. If you do not know, just pass it, as I've said. And don't play to the tune of the board. Speak your view. Sometimes I've seen aspirants who just want to get in. The board will say, this is a very bad idea, right? What do you think? Yes, sir. Perfectly, sir. This is a bad idea. After some time, they will again say that, I think this is also not a good thing. Yes, sir. This is not a good thing. So always do not agree to the board. They are just playing it to the tune. So do not play to the tune of the board. If they say there is not right, if you actually beg to differ on that, you say, sir, I beg to differ on that. I think I don't have to agree with this. You can say, sir, I beg to differ on that statement. In my opinion, this should be like this. This is my opinion. Always speak your view. That is very important. They may provoke you. Don't play it by the tune. And don't contradict your position. You will say one thing in the beginning and you will say another thing in the end, which are both contradictory. And imagine that you speak about women's right, you speak about women's empowerment, and the moment they ask you, do you cook at home? You say, I don't cook at home because my mother says that it's not the men's job to cook. So I don't take it's a family tradition that women does the cooking. So this is a contradiction. At one point you speak immensely about women's empowerment and women's development, and on the other side you say it's the women's job. It's the orthodoxy. It's a conservative view. So do not contradict your position. Have one single view. Maintain that view throughout the interview. This is again not contradicting. And don't say extreme things in the interview. If they ask you, if you have written a hobby playing cricket, they can ask you a question. What is the history of cricket? So don't tell them that, sir, I've only written I know to play cricket. I have not written that I know the history of cricket. Don't be too over smart, and don't say extreme things. And don't say that, do you know swimming by any chance? So you will say that, no, sir, I don't know swimming, but I'm sure I'll learn it in the Mussoorie training camp. During my training center, my training time, definitely I'll learn it from Mussoorie. So you don't even know whether you have a swimming pool in Mussoorie or not. You're simply saying that I'll learn it in the training center. So don't say such extreme overconfident stuff. It's not good. So be the man of that integrity. That is very, very important. And what are some of the most confidence points that you should definitely get in the interview is always give your best. There is no need to worry. Your marks in the mains matters a lot. So even if you give a bad interview, don't worry, you will definitely get some marks. Your marks in the mains plus interview is going to determine your future. So it's already over. So that is why give your best. Give your best confidently, smile and be very cool. Sit in the most beautiful, good position that will always reflect confidence. Each and every moment the interview board looks at you, they should feel that you are very confident enough, and they should definitely select you in this process. So this is generally the few things that I wanted to tell you, and there are more things, but definitely if you want a personalized DAF, again, if you want a personalized DAF and a DAF map and just a very casual personal mock before the interview, feel free to contact and text me personally in this my number, and I'll be happy to assist you immediately. So that is it, and give out the best interview. Give your best. Definitely, this is just a phase. If you are confident, you will definitely come out of this. So thank you so much, and meanwhile, do subscribe to our channel Learn Stroke IAS Classes by Arjun, and follow our offline center Future Next IAS. And thank you so much. Thank you.